Part 79. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 781. Chapter 781. The child was not saved. Enruan came out of a single toilet room and felt a pain in the back of his neck and lost consciousness. Enruan struggled to open his eyes, only to hear the sound of bells in his ears. Not long after, blood began to flow from Enruan's legs. Outside the operating room, a large group of people from the Mo family were standing guard outside the emergency operating room at the moment, with different expressions on their faces, especially Mrs. Mo and Mo Feng's anxious expressions. Mo Feng was anxious and irritable. What the is going on? Why did you fall in the toilet? Old Mrs. Mo kept bowing to the window. God bless, bless my great-grandson in safety. The twins, who are usually talkative, now dare not say a word. Mo Ruoshuang has been sitting there in silence. Yezikan and Ye Wei were not present. When everyone was anxious, they felt that time was slow. I don't know how long it took, but the display light during the operation finally went out. After the doctor in a white coat came out, he shook his head at them and said, "Sorry, we have done our best." "Where is the child?" The child was not saved. At first hearing the news, old Mrs. Mo almost fainted on the spot. Grandma, fortunately, the twins were supporting her, so old Mrs. Mo stood there steadily. Enruan had a miscarriage, and many people could not accept this fact. "I don't believe it. It must be that you quack doctors are incompetent." Mo Feng, who has always been a man, suddenly turned red when he heard that Enruan had a miscarriage. Whether they are satisfied or dissatisfied with Enruan, they all hope that the heirs belonging to the Mo family will disappear like this. But the facts are before their eyes, and they cannot tolerate disbelief. Mo Feng thought of Mo Ruoshuang first. "Is it you? This happened when Ruan followed you out today. Was it you who did it?" Mo Feng suddenly pointed the finger at Mo Ruoshuang, and everyone in the family felt that he was too sad. "Feng what are you talking about? Even if Ruoshuang took her out, it was not Ruoshuang who caused her injury." Mo Ruoshuang's mother defended her daughter. At this time, even Mo Feng's mother came out to say some fair words for her. She just mentioned, "Feng Ruoshuang is your sister, how could she hurt her nephew?" Mo Feng's mother knew that the younger member of the family who was most devoted to her son was Mo Ruoshuang. She certainly believed in Mo Ruoshuang more than a grandson who was gone. An angry Mo Feng pointed out, "You have forgotten that she has been dissatisfied with Ruan before." Mo Ruoshuang stood up and faced Mo Feng openly. "Brother, I am indeed dissatisfied with Enruan, but since she is pregnant with your child, I cannot be dissatisfied with my nephew." Mo Ruoshuang's expression was solemn, and there was no hint of guilt. "Brother, I have been helping you, but you still want to frame me." Mo Ruoshuang's words have an overtone. Of all the people present, only Mo Feng knew that Mo Ruoshuang never wanted Enruan's child to be born. But when he looked at the indifferent sister in front of him, he really couldn't speak. He couldn't tell everyone what Mo Ruoshuang told him that day. Mo Feng couldn't bear the different looks in his eyes, so he hid in the corner of the building and kept all the pain in his heart. After a while, Mo Ruoshuang chased him again and said, "This matter has nothing to do with me." Mo Feng sat there motionless, not wanting to speak and not daring to face him. "Mo Ruoshuang, Enruan is awake, go and have a look." Drama Queen. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 782. Chapter 782. The little bell regarded as the murderer. "Someone is harming me," I heard the bell, "someone is harming my child on purpose." As soon as Enruan woke up, he touched his belly and asked if the child was okay. But when she learned the truth about her miscarriage from others, Enruan almost collapsed. At first she complained that she didn't believe it, but then she said that someone was deliberately harming her. The words she said naturally aroused the attention of those who were interested. Ruan, you said you heard the bell ringing before you fainted. Yes, I was knocked unconscious when I went to the toilet and was about to go out, but before I fainted, I heard the ringing of the bell. I promise I heard it clearly. Mo Feng seemed to wake up suddenly and strode out of the ward. Because of An Ruan's words, everyone noticed that after An Ruan's accident, the salesperson who had been formed and was never seen from beginning to end. Mo Ruoxuan was still adding fuel to the fire. Maybe I did something to make me feel guilty, so I don't dare to show up now. Stop talking nonsense, old MRSMO scolded her. An Ruan's miscarriage is indeed strange. People here started to investigate, and they also found Ye Weiwei. In fact, Ye Weiwei and Ye Zikan only found out about An Ruan's miscarriage the next day. The day before, they found some information related to Li Cheng and went to investigate. How did they know about An Ruan? But the Mahists were suspicious of them, so they called Ye Weiwei over for questioning. At first, MRSMO spoke tactfully. There was a big incident at home yesterday, which made the couple panic. You and Chenner didn't come home all night. Did you encounter some trouble? Old MRSMO just wanted to ask them about yesterday's itinerary in the name of caring for the younger generation. Ye Weiwei mentioned a location, which reminded old MRSMO of her thoughts. Old MRSMO asked tentatively, where you went yesterday, was there a gallery next to it? Ye nodded unequivocally, I guess so, I didn't pay much attention to it. Old MRSMO looked into her eyes and found no strange expression in them. Yesterday, the gallery was where Mo Ruoxuang took An Ruan to meet other noble ladies. They watched the words and cultivated their sentiments. During their break, they found a place to sit down, drink tea, chat, and talk about paintings. An Ruan didn't quite understand these elegant things, and he tried his best to blend in. He kept drinking water to relieve his nervousness, and then went to the toilet. An accident happened. Of course, Ye Weiwei had heard these things when he came back. Mo Feng's mother was the first person who couldn't sit still. She stood up and asked, where were you when An Ruan's accident happened? Does second auntie mean that An Ruan's accident has anything to do with me? An Ruan said it herself that she heard the sound of bells at the place where the accident happened. Mo Feng's mother pointedly looked at the bell bracelet on Ye Weiwei's wrist. Ye Weiwei slowly raised his hand, raised the bell in front of himself, shook it twice, and the bell made a crisp sound. She raised her eyes slightly and asked, is this the sound of bells? Mo Feng's mother immediately accused her, you are the murderer. Ye Weiwei smiled and narrowed his eyes while raising the corners of his mouth. Second aunt, you have to pay attention to evidence when speaking. I have never been to any gallery, and I have never met An Ruan. As for whether she heard the bell, it has nothing to do with me. I didn't expect Ye Wei, who usually looked weak, to be so tough. Mo Feng's mother directly asked her to confront him, then you go and confront An Ruan. I don't go. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 783. Chapter 783 Fake Video. Chiao Li, why don't you go, are you feeling guilty? Second aunt, I'm not going because I behave and sit upright. If you were willing to believe me, would you tell me to confront An Ruan? The only thing Ye said was clear and logical. MRSMO couldn't react for a moment. Simply put the whole thing on An Ruan's head and use An Ruan as a cover. This matter is not about whether we believe it or not, but An Ruan himself said that he was knocked unconscious and heard the sound of bells before he fainted. Ye Weiwei chuckled lightly, lowered his hands, and the bell did not make any more sound. She said with a faint smile, I am not the only one who owns bells. If bells sound everywhere where bad things are done, Will all the responsibilities be imposed on me? Mrsmoer couldn't help but feel a little guilty when she heard Ye Weiwei's sharp responses. But now that her words had been spoken, she planned to trick Ye Wei into the water. You are so sharp-tongued, I really underestimated you. Sorry, I don't mean anything else. I'm just discussing the matter. After all, no one wants to be wronged. All right. Before the two of them could quarrel, old Mrsmo stopped the rest of their words. Chiao Chiao, Grandma believes that this matter has nothing to do with you. Your second aunt wants you to explain this matter clearly to Enruan. After all, she has just lost her child and is in an unstable mood, so she is so sensitive. Ginger is still old and spicy, and everything he says and does is calculated. Old Mrsmo finished talking about the good and bad, and her careful logic made Ye Wei unable to refuse. She had no choice but to agree. If that's the case, then just listen to Grandma. Having decided this, Mrsmo took Ye Wei to the hospital. Mo Ruoshuang, who has been closely observing the development trend of this matter, brought a prepared video back to the Mo family. Grandma, here is the video from the gallery yesterday. I have already watched the video. Chiao Chiao did appear in the gallery. It's just that the location of the toilet makes it easy to hide from the camera, and the camera's footage is not very realistic. Mo Ruoshuang played the video and jumped directly to the key scene so that Mrsmo could see it clearly. Old Mrsmo's original 3-point doubts increased to 7-point doubts. Mrsmo frowned. This kid really went to the gallery, but he lied to us. Mo Ruoshuang covered half of her lips in surprise. Grandma, could it really be her? I'll let Feng watch and see what she says when she confronts Enruan. So you saw Chiao Chiao and second auntie going out just now to go to the hospital to confront them? Mo Ruoshuang pretended not to know, and added, I'll go and have a look too. Mo Ruoshuang kept the video, and Mrsmo watched it over and over again. As for the hospital, Enruan has been in a low mood these past 2 days, either talking about the child or revenge. But fortunately, with Mo Feng by her side, she could only pretend to be pitiful by losing her child. Feng, I'm sorry, it's all my fault for not protecting our children. It doesn't matter, we are still young and we will have more children. But I still feel a lot of pain in my heart. Ruan, it's okay. Feng, you must find the murderer and avenge our child. Good. Just when Mo Feng made his promise, Mrsmo led Ye Wei and pushed the door open. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 784. Chapter 784. The drama queen herself. Enruan was extremely excited when she saw Ye Wei. If Mo Feng hadn't stopped her, she would have rushed in front of Ye Wei and slapped her. Chiao Li, why are you so cruel to hurt my child? Enruan struggled forward with great effort. Mo Feng supported her waist with all his strength and kept comforting her. Ruan, don't get excited. Just go back to bed and lie down and don't hurt yourself, okay? Don't get excited. But this emotion cannot be calmed down, especially when he saw the suspect who caused his miscarriage. Enruan couldn't control his temper. Ye Wei was very calm when he saw Enruan's series of reactions. Originally, these people have nothing to do with her, and she is not the Holy Mother. She wants to show sympathy to someone who is resentful of herself. Enruan, I'm here just to make it clear to you, so that everyone won't impose unnecessary charges on me. Enruan refused to listen to the explanation and accused her relentlessly. I think you are just quibbling. You are so scheming at a young age. There is nothing a cruel woman like you can't do. Ye Wei felt uncomfortable after hearing this, and directly retorted, you are just trying to slander me without any evidence. Are you using your brain? Chiao Ling, Mo Feng suddenly called her name seriously and taught her a lesson confidently. Ruan is emotionally unstable now. Just ask her to say a few words. She is your sister-in-law, how can you challenge her? It's really pitiful that she had an accident, but why should I have to bear her anger? Even if I have the title of sister-in-law, I can't act so recklessly. What's more, she doesn't want to recognize her as a big brother or sister-in-law. Neither Mo Feng nor Mo Feng's mother expected that Ye Weiwei, who had previously looked weak and easy to bully, would suddenly become so tough. Only Ruan knows that this is the only true nature of Night. And she almost exposed what had happened just now because of her impulsiveness. Ruan kept warning herself in her mind that she would use the miscarriage to suppress Ye Wei, but she must not expose the dark history of junior high school, otherwise it would be harmful to her. Since the two of them had different opinions, they decided to wait for someone to find evidence. Mo Ruoshuang, who came in a hurry, saw all Ruan's reactions. Mo Ruoshuang had doubts in her heart. Ran and Ye Weiwei did not have much contact in the Mo family. Even if he suspected Ye Weiwei was the murderer, he should not have such a reaction. Mo Ruoshuang hesitated for a while and then opened the door of the ward. She leaned close and whispered a few words in Mo Feng's ear. Mo Feng's eyes involuntarily shifted to Ye Weiwei, and his eyes became a little deeper. Then Mo Ruoshuang opened her cell phone again and showed Mo Feng something. MRSMOER and Ruan both involuntarily stretched their necks forward to take a look, but Ye Weiwei leaned against the table calmly, as if he didn't care about anything. I know. After watching the video, Mo Feng waved to Mo Ruoshuang. Mo Ruoshuang nodded and stood beside Mo Feng. I saw Mo Feng walking towards Ye Wei step by step. The atmosphere in the ward condensed instantly, as if a storm was about to come. He asked Ye Weiwei, "You didn't go to the gallery yesterday, do you really mean that?" Ye Weiwei nodded, "Of course, I don't need to speak. If there is a video as evidence, how will you explain it? Videos can be faked. The best way is, of course, to find the culprit." Yes. Only gaze suddenly turned to Mo Ruoshuang. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 785. Chapter 785 is clearly arranged. Ruoshuang, did you like pouring tea and water yesterday? Ye Weiwei asked this question calmly. What do you mean? The two looked at each other, but Mo Ruoshuang didn't feel guilty. This is quite rare. Ye Weiwei nodded. There's one thing that feels weird. When we went to look for the camera video of the toilet, we were told that the original video was accidentally destroyed, and the only person who got the video was Ruoshuang. Mo Ruoshuang raised her chin and admitted directly, I got the video, that's right. Ye Weiwei chuckled, you admitted it, that's good. I went to get the video to help my sister-in-law find out the truth about the miscarriage. There is nothing I cannot admit, Mo Ruoshuang said confidently. Your idea is correct, but I, as a person, cannot be slandered the most. If I can't find the most critical video, I will look for other videos. I accidentally discovered that Ruoshuang, you seemed too towards Ruan yesterday. Too enthusiastic. Do you keep pouring her tea to make her go to the toilet? What nonsense are you talking about? Ruan is my sister-in-law. There is no tea in her cup. What happened if I poured water for her? As far as I know, according to Ruoshuang's way of doing things, you can't do such a thing. Even if Ruan is thirsty, people like Mo Ruoshuang will not pour water for her personally. What's more, you were observing Ruan the whole time and also paid attention to the water glass. Ye Weiwei emphasized that Mo Ruoshuang deliberately asked Ruan to go to the toilet. But Mo Ruoshuang insisted, Ruan is pregnant with the flesh and blood of my Mo family. Of course I have to take good care of her. If I don't care about her, why would I waste my time taking her to the gallery to see the world? Then Ruan went to the toilet and never came back. Why didn't you think about caring about her? Instead, you stood up in surprise when someone found out that something happened to your sister-in-law. Does it mean I care if I follow her to the bathroom, The others are all friends I invited, so I have to sit there and hold on. Then why did you insist that it was in Ruan when you heard someone was in trouble in the toilet? She was the only one who went into the toilet. Of course I was worried that something would happen to her. Ye Wei didn't ask a question, and Mo Ruoxuang answered the question without hesitation, as if it was a plot dialogue arranged in advance. These two people are not arguing. It is difficult to distinguish the truth from the lies in their sharp words. But what you said at the time was, something happened to my sister-in-law, and I want to go see her. Do you think this is a normal reaction? I was so flustered at the time that I inevitably chose the wrong words, and you weren't there at the time. How did you know what I said? Oh, don't you know that there is something called lip reading in the world? Mo Ruoxuang was speechless. Mo Ruoxuang couldn't bear Ye Wei's sharp questions, so she turned to Mo Feng. Brother, look at this Jiao Liao. Her sister-in-law is obviously identifying her as the murderer, but she is still so cunning in trying to get rid of her. It's a crime. It's better to just call the police. The sister-in-law is the victim. Whoever she says is the murderer is who she is. Mo Feng did not agree. Mo Ruoxuang grew up in the Mo family. Does Mo Feng know what her personality is like? Although yes, only question about Mo Ruoxuang was complicated. Mo Feng, who knew Mo Ruoxuang, had already seen the clues. This matter has nothing to do with Mo Ruoxuang, but Mo Ruoxuang just wants to use An Ruan's child to catch Yezikan and Ye Wei in one fell swoop. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 786. Chapter 786, Big Brother will cherish you more. I have made my own decision on this matter. You all should go out and don't disturb Ruan to rest. No one expected that Mo Feng kicked out all the important people at the most critical moment. And Ruan was left pretending to be weak in Mo Feng's arms. Mo Feng heard her sobbing quietly and felt heartbroken when he thought of her grievances. He is now convinced that this matter has something to do with his most beloved sister Mo Ruoxuang, but he cannot admit it, nor can he be as cruel as Mo Ruoxuang. Mo Feng coaxed her for a long time and promised her many benefits. Mo Feng did not leave until An Ruan fell asleep. Mo Feng had troubles and pressure in his heart and nowhere to vent them. Mo Ruoxuang took this opportunity to sneak into An Ruan's room and stayed there for about 10 minutes. Not long after, Ye Wei received an invitation from the police station. The police collected confessions. Ye Wei was adamant that he did not go to the gallery yesterday, but An Ruan insisted that Ye Wei killed his child. Mo Ruoxuang greeted the people from the police station. They deliberately targeted Ye Wei. Even if the charges were unnecessary, they only listened to the victim An Ruan's words. An Ruan and Ye Wei were face to face, and Mo Ruoxuang was always by An Ruan's side, instigating and encouraging. Ye Wei's face remained unchanged. Her calm look made An Ruan and Mo Ruoxuang anxious and a little more angry. Comrade police, a vicious woman like this should be taken directly to jail. MRSMO, Miss Mo, we must also use formal channels when handling cases. Of course the police are suspected of being biased towards An Ruan, but since he is working and all the evidence he writes must be included in the case, he does not dare to be too blatant. However, before he could finish the record in his hand, someone came from outside and said, "The director is here." The chief personally took action, and the small police officers could only stand aside. The dignified director stopped there and said straight to the point, "I heard that you just received security information from a person named An Ruan and brought back a suspect named Jiao Li." The only little policeman who was interrogating him all night quickly stood up and said, "Report to the chief." Before the little policeman could say a few words, when the chief heard the word detention, his face had already darkened a few shades. He opened a road domineeringly. When he saw Ye Weiwei, he didn't ask any questions and directly ordered the little policeman guarding him, "Don't let them go yet." The people at the police station saw a stunning beauty with an elegant temperament being picked up by the director himself. Looking at the director's enthusiasm, it seemed as if the person coming was not a suspect but a superior. Until Ye Wei left, the little policeman who had just accepted the bribe to interrogate Ye Weiwei didn't react. He was stunned for a while and suddenly started to panic. Not long after, the policeman who had accepted the bribe received a letter of dismissal. Mo Ruoshuang was very angry. She also wanted to use the name of the Mo family to put pressure on her superiors, but those people ignored her at all. Mo Ruoshuang was so angry that she just encouraged Enruan to go to MRSMO and complain. Enruan knew that Mo Ruoshuang had ulterior motives and did not want to be used as a weapon. But Mo Ruoshuang grasped Enruan's vanity at that moment. "You are now married to my eldest brother, and his honor and disgrace are inseparable from you. As long as Grandma feels that Jiaolian and Yezikin are harboring evil intentions, Grandma will be biased against eldest brother, and eldest brother will love you more. The Mo family belongs to eldest brother alone. Do you understand this truth?" Mo Ruoshuang held Enruan's arm tightly, her gaze getting deeper and deeper. Finally, Enruan nodded. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 787. Chapter 787 Mahist Bloodline. When they were in front of old Mrs. Mo's door, Mo Ruoshuang pushed Enruan, but what greeted them was old Mrs. Mo's roar and a majestic, "Kneel down." Enruan looked up and saw Ye Weiwei standing next to old Mrs. Mo with an elegant posture, looking confident. Seeing this scene, Enruan, who had never experienced a big scene, couldn't help but feel a little panicked. Enruan subconsciously wanted to ask her co-conspirator Mo Ruoshuang for help, but Mo Ruoshuang didn't even look at her at this moment. Mo Ruoshuang was the first to kneel down, and the sound of dong was very clear. But after Mo Ruoshuang knelt down, she didn't admit her mistake. Instead, she straightened her back and shouted loudly, "Grandma." Old Mrs. looked calm, but she could still tell that she was a little unhappy. "Do you know where you went wrong?" "Grandma, granddaughter doesn't know why you want us to kneel down, but since Grandma has spoken, granddaughter must obey, but granddaughter is here today to avenge her sister-in-law." At this moment, Mo Ruoshuang confidently sought justice for Enruan. She pushed Enruan up and said every word from her heart, "Grandma, Jiao Li has evil intentions to harm my eldest brother's bloodline. Please be aware of the situation and don't let the treacherous villain stay to harm our Mo family." Unexpectedly, Mrs. frowned and shouted to stop her, "Shut up." Old Mrs. was angry. Ye was the only one who was calm and Mo Ruoshuang was composed, but Enruan was panicked. Mo Ruoshuang met Enruan with squinting eyes. Enruan twisted her clothes anxiously, remembering what Mo Ruoshuang had said to her before. Full of temptations of benefits, she mustered up the courage to imitate Mo Ruoshuang and kneel down with a plop. Then he covered his face and cried to old Mrs. "Grandma, I was framed and lost my child when I was just pregnant. This incident is an indelible nightmare for me. Grandma, I know you are a little dissatisfied with me, but the child is innocent, that child is a bloodline of the Mo family, and now someone is deliberately framing him. You can't sit idly by and watch." Every word referring to Mo family bloodline is nothing more than Mrs. Mo's eagerness to seek her great-grandson. But this time, Mo Ruoshuang miscalculated. Old Mrs. took 2 steps back and sat on the large chair, breathing hard and steadily. Ye Weiwei saw that the old lady seemed a little uncomfortable, so he thought of some medical knowledge to calm her down. Old Mrs. pointed at Enruan, "My eldest granddaughter-in-law, you go out first." Enruan was dumbfounded when she heard what old Mrs. called her. You must know that MRSMO has always been dissatisfied with her. Even if she reluctantly agreed to let her marry Mo Feng, she was not intimate. If the loss of a child is irreversible, but it is recognized by old MRSMO, and Ruan doesn't know whether she should laugh, but she can't help the beating in her heart. She was submissive by MRSMO's words of granddaughter-in-law, and instantly forgot her agreement with Mo Ruoshuang, and left obediently. "Grandma, I'm going out right now." After Ruan walked out, he felt refreshed. In fact, she was devastated when she lost her child, but given a little time to calm down, she figured it out. She is only 22 years old, in good health, and can have more children if she wants. By losing this child, she would not only gain sympathy from the Mo family, but also make Mo Feng love her more, and maybe even bring up the idea of holding a wedding again. When the time comes, she will let everyone see the splendor of marrying into a wealthy family. As for Mo Ruoshuang, idiot. Her promise to Mo Ruoshuang was just a temporary measure. Do you see it? Although Ruan didn't have much wisdom, she was able to successfully marry into the Mo family because of her hard work. She was not someone who could be manipulated casually, and the reason why she agreed to Mo Ruoshuang was because of a ruse. Can you see Ruan's purpose? End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 788. Chapter 788 Room. The child doesn't have. Also good. She knows one thing very well: there is no way to recover what is lost. The best way is to make good use of what is lost to obtain higher value. That idiot Mo Ruoshuang looked down on her from the beginning to the end. How could she really cooperate with Mo Ruoshuang? The matter of the child probably has something to do with Mo Ruoshuang. Ruan wants revenge, but whether it's revenge on Ye Weiwei or Mo Ruoshuang, it's not what he should do now. What Ruan wants to do now is not to cause trouble, but to try his best to use his own excellence to secure his position as the Mo family's young mistress. She and Mo Feng are just getting certificates now. If there is no wedding, the Mo family can kick her out. Hidden marriages are not reliable. Now that she has lost her child and has no one to rely on, she can only hold on to Mo Feng's heart and let him hold a gorgeous wedding. At least people in the upper class will know that there is a young lady from the Mo family. It's called Ruan. Ruan saw that the home cook had purchased a new batch of ingredients. A meaningful smile appeared on her face and she entered the kitchen diligently. I don't know what the people in old MRSMO's room were talking about, but Mo Ruoshuang just disappeared into the Mo house. The matter of Ruan's miscarriage was apparently ignored. Because no one can shake anyone. The Mo family who knew the truth could not really push the murderer out to receive punishment, and Ye Weiwei, who was framed, could naturally find the truth to clear himself from suspicion. So, the Mo family will not publicize this scandal. But after this incident, Mo Feng, Mo Ruoshuang, and others gained a new understanding of Yezikin and Ye Weiwei's abilities. Are these two people devils? Even Mo Ruoshuang's meticulous plan couldn't shake them at all. It has only been a short month, and Ye Weiwei is already tired of the environment of the Mo family. If she had to accompany Yezikin to receive long-term treatment here, she really didn't want to stay here for a moment. Yezikin also noticed her thoughts: if you don't like it here, I will take you back to S city. Ye Weiwei shook his head without hesitation, raised his index finger to his lips and said, although I don't like this place, I prefer that my brother can recover as soon as possible. Yezikin caught her finger, put it to her mouth and kissed it gently. Boom. At this time, the door opened. There are still two culprits. I saw the twins standing together at the door. The two of them just blocked the bedroom door. Standing there awkwardly, they saw Yezikin and Ye Weiwei facing each other face to face, moving very intimately. Sister Mo Ruyu quickly pulled her sister Mo Ruoxiu. Mo Ruoxiu quickly grabbed Mo Ruyu again. The two of them turned around in opposite directions at the same time, and bumped into each other again. The two of them accused each other, turned around in the opposite direction, and closed the door with a snap. The twins tugged at each other again, their bodies tending to move forward, but their 4 feet didn't move even half an inch. Not only that, the two of them also moved quietly in tacit agreement, and at the same time held their breath and stood at the door, listening carefully to see if there was any movement inside. The bedroom door suddenly opened. The twins fell forward together and bumped into Yes' only arm. Fortunately, the inertial force was not particularly strong, so no accident occurred to the three of them. "What are you looking at?" "We didn't see anything." The twins shook their heads together and fled as fast as they could. Until below, the twins murmured, "Are the second brother and the second sister-in-law going to have nieces and nephews with us too?" This word reached the ears of those who were interested. What? Xiaoling is pregnant? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 789. Chapter 789 Xiaoling is pregnant. Xiaoling is pregnant. The news spread throughout the Mahist family instantly, but this time it was spread privately. That is to say, everyone had obviously heard about this matter from others, but they did not talk about it openly like the last time Enruan was pregnant. But what a big blow this news was to Enruan, who had just lost her child. Enruan was so jealous that he almost smashed Mo Feng's favorite vase. "Didn't I say last time that the two of them didn't have sex? How could they be pregnant? They have a very good relationship. Just because they don't live together doesn't mean they haven't been together at this passionate age. It is inevitable that firewood will be uncontrollable." It was spread from person to person, and even Mrs. Mo's eyelids couldn't help but twitch a few times when she heard the news. But as the person involved, Ye Wei just brought back a big iced watermelon. Ye Wei was not a delicate girl who couldn't bare her shoulders or lift her hands. She carried her own iced watermelon and headed to the kitchen, intending to cut it into pieces and share it with everyone. It was not mealtime at this time, and the Mo family's exclusive gold medal chef was not there, so no one saw Ye Wei when he went in to cut the watermelon. After a while, she brought the watermelon out of the kitchen. When the housekeeper saw her move, he rushed over and had the urge to grab the iced watermelon. "Miss Jiao, you can't eat something so cold, it's easy for the cold to enter your body." Ye only agreed with what the housekeeper said, but she thought that she was not on her menstrual period recently, so it would be okay to eat some iced watermelon in the hot summer, and it would be refreshing. "Butler, I'll just eat a little, and you can take one too, and share the rest with everyone." Ye Wei generously handed the butler a piece of watermelon in the middle. The interaction between the two was very natural, and there was no fuss at all. The lady was putting on airs with the servant. But precisely because of this, the housekeeper became more interested in Ye Wei. "Miss, you'd better not eat even one piece. Eating ice will naturally cool you down in the hot summer, but it will definitely hurt your stomach. Do you still need to worry more about your physical discomfort now?" "My body, I'm in good health." If she hadn't felt that the action of patting her chest was unsightly, she would have patted her own chest. But she didn't know what was going on with the housekeeper, so he just advised her not to eat. Ye only felt that he was in a state of confusion, and the delicious iced watermelon was taken away by the butler. Ye Wei tried to ask, "Uncle Butler, do you really want to eat watermelon?" The housekeeper almost failed when he saw Ye Yi's innocent and harmless appearance, and thought that this time none of the parties involved announced her pregnancy at the Mo family, and the housekeeper was too embarrassed to reveal the so-called fact, so he had to make up some excuse to get through. Ye Wei felt uncomfortable. He always felt that if he took 2 steps in the Mo family, he would attract strange looks from others. At the dinner table, Ye Wei felt that his throat was uncomfortable, and he coughed lightly at the bottom of his neck, but there was very little movement. But when she looked up again, she found that everyone's eyes were focused on her. Turning her eyes around, Ye Wei couldn't figure out why these people were staring at her. Finally, her eyes fell on Yezikin's face. Well, it is indeed more pleasing to look at handsome guys. Yezikin's calm face made her feel much calmer. Some people can't help but want to speak. Yezikin suddenly picked her up in public and left a message to the people at the dinner table: Qiao Qiao is not feeling well. I will take her up to rest. Kixie's sweet smile: Brother Chen, what do you want to do? Make a lie come true? End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixie. Chapter 790. Chapter 790, Pretending to be Real. Yezikin hugged Ye Wei and left in full view of everyone. I'm really pregnant, MRSMO sighed. The whole family left behind was in a state of confusion. Some looked at Enruan a few more times, but Enruan was immersed in looking at the rice in his bowl, and his mind had already taken 18 turns. She just lost her child, how could Ye Wei be pregnant? Why doesn't God have eyes? If it weren't for the dinner table, Enruan would almost not be able to hide his true nature. Ye Wei, who was carried back to the room, only knew how to cooperate with Yezikin's actions. When the room was put down, she asked, why did brother say that just now? Seeing how she was sometimes witty and sometimes ignorant, Yezikin felt so soft. Idiot, haven't you heard the rumors about the Mo family in the past 2 days? What? Does everyone in the Mo family know that Jiao Liao is pregnant? Only the pregnant woman herself does not know. After all, people can spread the word from one person to another, but they will not deliberately run up to the person concerned and ask foolishly, are you pregnant? So, the only thing I don't know is night. Yezikin suddenly fell silent. Ye Wei, whose curiosity was aroused, was of course unwilling to give in. Brother, what do you want to say? Tell me quickly, I'm so curious. If you are curious to death, you will no longer be curious. A cold joke caught off guard. Ye Wei was stunned at first, then covered his mouth and laughed. Brother, why are you telling cold jokes? Your expression is very funny. She was carried away for a moment. Yezikin had already stretched out his claws to grab her ears. Are you laughing at me? Someone whose ears were pulled had to admit his mistake and said, don't dare, don't dare. Yezikin just let go of his hand. In fact, his strength just now was of no use. He was not annoyed, and his expression turned serious in an instant. Everyone has been spreading rumors in the past 2 days that you are pregnant. What am I pregnant? Am I pregnant? Pregnant? Ye Wei asked the important thing 3 times. She looked down at her slender waist and flat belly, feeling baffled. Suddenly, I remembered the ice-cold watermelon that was snatched away by the butler the day before yesterday, and I still clearly remember the profound words the butler said in my mind. Who is talking nonsense and ruining my reputation? How could a young girl like her become pregnant? She really wanted to rush out and explain herself immediately, but her reason told her that things were not that simple. Ye Wei asked directly, brother, what you did just now was because you hoped they would misunderstand me. Yezikin nodded. Ye Wei, I didn't think of the reason for the moment. Yezikin did not directly tell the reason. Just waiting for Ye Wei to react, he guessed it right away. Ah. Can we take this opportunity to lure the snake out of the hole again? Clever. The only person hiding in the dark and calculating the night seems to have disappeared from the world. How can it be okay if nothing arouses that person's mind? This kind of venomous snake that likes to bite people in the dark must be removed as soon as possible to eliminate the hidden danger as soon as possible. Just because you are not pregnant, it is the best time. If she is really pregnant, apart from protection, she really doesn't want Ye Wei to take risks at all. With the help of Yezikin and Yahweh, the news of Yahweh's pregnancy spread. But Yahweh himself did not take the initiative to admit it. Everyone thought it was news that had spread quietly, and MRSMO and others did not mention it deliberately. Because of this incident, Mo Feng began to feel worried. Whenever he felt worried, he would call his childhood friend Sidu Yan out for a drink. Sidu Yan learned the news that Yahweh was pregnant, and the strange feeling in his heart disappeared in an instant. After he drank, he went directly to Xiaomo. Recommended by my friend Lucich's book Quickly Wear Female Match, Dark-Faced Male God, Don't Do Anything. Shui Xianglian's Quick Travel Counterattack, Monster Heavenly Lord, Please Lie Well, the story of how a ruthless and desireless Heavenly Lord was teased to the point of speaking out against his integrity. End of this chapter.